of Nigeria. Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey, OFR, North Central. Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada, North Central. Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris. Honorable Justice Haruna Tsammani, Northeast. Honorable Justice Jamilu Yamama Tuko, Northwest. Honorable Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar, Northwest. Honorable Justice Chidiebere Nwaoma, Southeast. Honorable Justice Chioma Egondu Nwosu-Iheme, Southeast. Honorable Justice Obande Festus Obuya, Southeast. Honorable Justice Mo Asimo Adumen, South-South. Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiru, Southwest. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest considerations. Yours sincerely. This is signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and dated 13th day of December, 2023.
Legal matters on the confirmation of nomination of 11 Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Preamble. The Senate in its plenary sitting on Wednesday, 20th December 2023, deliberated on the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for the confirmation of nomination of the underlisted Honorable Justices designate of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and referred same to the Senate Committee on Human Rights, Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters for legislative action. The nominees are Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey, Honorable Justice Nwaoma, Honorable Justice Chioma Nwosu-Iheme, Honorable Justice Haruna Tsammani, Honorable Justice Mo Abraham Adumain, Honorable Justice Obande Festus Obuya, Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada, Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiru, Honorable Justice Jamilu Y. Tukur, Honorable Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar, and Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris. The appointments were made pursuant to Section 231, subsection 2 and 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, which requires that the appointment of a person to the office of Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria shall be made by the President on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council, subject to confirmation of such nomination by the Senate. After the referral, the committee requested for and received the curriculum vitae and other supporting documents of the nominees and invited them to appear before it for screening exercise. On Wednesday, 20 December 2023, the nominees appeared before the committee. The committee examined their curriculum vitae and other supporting documents and thereafter screened them. The committee interviewed the nominees and received explanations regarding their qualification, experience, suitability, exposure, competence, and integrity to assume the positions of justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The nominees were screened in the following order. So I don't need to go through the order you have. Is their CVs, their curriculum vitae, and what have you. So I will proceed straight to page 8. Page 8 of the document. Yes. Page 8, which is the response to questions, then findings, and then I will go to finally the recommendations. In response to questions put forward by the committee, the nominees individually and collectively demonstrated sufficient knowledge and firm grasp of the law and other topical, contemporary, and jurisprudential issues. Findings. The committee, after the screening exercise, deliberated on the nominees' suitability for appointments as justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and hereby make the following findings. That the appointment of the nominees satisfy the requirements of the provisions of Section 231, subsection 2, and subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. That there is no criminal record or adverse report found against the nominees, as record checks and other forms of investigation by relevant security agencies did not reveal any negative trace against them. That there is no petition against the appointments of the nominees. That the nominees possess the requisite leadership qualities required of judicial officers to exercise restraint and uphold the dignity of the court and the litigants in the discharge of their official functions. That the nominees are fit and proper persons for appointment as justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. General observations. For the avoidance of doubt, we wish to observe that these appointments satisfy the constitutional provision of Section 231, subsection 3, which stipulates a minimum of 15 years post-call experience to qualify for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. It should be noted that these appointments became necessary following the retirements and unfortunate demise of some justices from the geopolitical zones from which these current appointments were made. By virtue of paragraph 13A and 1, third schedule to the Constitution of Federal Judicial Service of the Constitution, the Federal Judicial Service Commission is empowered to advise the National Judicial Council in nominating persons for appointment as justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Currently, the composition of the Supreme Court of Nigeria as per geopolitical zone is as follows. It's as stated in the report. Let me go straight to the recommendation. That is 6-0. The Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters, after careful scrutiny of the curriculum vitae and other accompanying documents of the nominees, and having satisfied about their exposure, experience, comportment, performance, qualification, and integrity, recommends that the Senate do confirm the nominations of Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey, 1, 2, Honorable Justice Chidiebere Nwaoma, 3, Honorable Justice Chioma, Egondu, Nwosu-Iheme, 4, Honorable Justice Haruna Tsammani, 5, Honorable Justice Mo Asemin Abraham Adumain, 6, Honorable Justice Obande Pestus Oguneya, 7, Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada, 8, Honorable Justice Habib Adewele Olumuyiwa Abiru, and 9, Honorable Justice Jamilu Y. Tukur, 10, Honorable Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar, the last and not the least, Honorable Justice Mohammed Idris, for appointment as Justices of the Supreme Court. I so move.
Confirmation of the nominated justices for the Supreme Court. They are all eminently qualified for these appointments, and I so support their nomination. But, Mr. President, in doing so, I would like to just note that the intent of the Constitution does not limit the appointment of Supreme Court justices to the Court of Appeal. And we have seen that all these justices that are being recommended for appointment to the Supreme Court are all Court of Appeal. We have scholars, eminent scholars. We have eminent practitioners of the law that are also qualified for appointment. If we just take the example of late Justice Nick Itobi, who was at one time the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Law in University of Maiduguri. You know, he was appointed from the university straight to Supreme Court. And his contribution to the legal practice in this country is immense. So the point I'm trying to make is that in making these appointments, we shouldn't limit our nominations from the Court of Appeal only. I so submit. Thank you.
The screening of the nominees was referred to them just yesterday, but they had to work around the clock to make sure they conclude the screening in this record time. You are really, you've done well, and we commend you for doing a job well done. Mr. President, not only that, they've been able to do a proper job screening, went deeply to find out whether they have the required pedigree to perform their functions as Supreme Court justices. And in line with what they've done, their findings have shown nothing negative in respect of these nominees. In fact, what turns out their findings was were all positive, you know, in favor of the nominees. The general observation as well turns out to be very, very good in respect of these nominees. Everything. I therefore request that my colleagues, to, without much ado, give our approval to these for the confirmation of this committee nominees, because everything that has been done here have shown that these people are properly put in place. They are well qualified. They do not have any negative thing to be attached to each and every one of them. Therefore, I request all of you to give your notes so that they can be confirmed. I so submit, Mr. President.
Doing my first presentation at this presentation as a lawyer. Sir, first, let me also commend the committee for doing a thorough job. And let me appreciate Mr. President for this presentation at these timely hours. The crop of the justices that have been presented here are, I will say, part of the best in Nigeria. For legal practitioners, if you read their judgments, you know what I'm talking about. But of particular note, Mr. President, let me thank the Senate. I know they will approve. For the first time, we have a Supreme Court justice from Plateau State. Justice Sankey is from Plateau. This is the first time that we are celebrating a Supreme Court justice too in Nigeria. So for this alone, even for the sympathy for people of Plateau State, I think this presentation, these people should be given as related confirmation. So I use the opportunity once again to thank, because the people, my good people of Plateau, I said that I should also extend through Mr. President of the Senate our commendation and appreciation to Mr. President for this wonderful presentation, and also for bringing in another set of very credible judges to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. I thank you for this privilege, Mr. President.
Of the Judiciary for a good job, and I do appreciate that they had to put in extra hours, given the limited time that they have. Mr. President, all the comments so far agree that these people nominated are competent and qualified to be elevated to the Supreme Court. The only comment I have heard from the gentleman who spoke about the academia belong to the realm of the future, whether this is desirable in the future or not. What is before us, for me, is only one question. Is there any of these justices who, in the opinion of any of us, is not a fit and proper person to be elevated to the Supreme Court of the land. The committee report says all of them are competent, and they have given their reason. I endorse in total, and I urge my colleagues to support and endorse the report of the committee without any amendment. And I commend your strategy, Mr. President, in ensuring that we have a quality review by referring this matter to a subcommittee. At that level, they are able to do more justice than is otherwise possible in a larger gathering. Mr. President, I so support and I commend the Committee on the Judiciary. Thank you
for even nominating this number of appointees into the Supreme Court for the first time. And so let's hear from distinguished Senator Yari. After that, distinguished Senator Wamako.
And the Senate for doing past and thorough job. Mr. President, when I came, I had the comment of Deputy Senate President, and I think the gentlemen of the judiciary that follow ranks from some of them magistrate to higher court to court of appeal, now to Supreme Court. And as we discussed yesterday, Mr. President, in the executive session, that most of, or almost all of them, they go under one scrutiny to another, from DSS, betting, presidential betting, and the other judiciary process. Mr. President, looking at what the Committee of Judiciary has done, our policy with the distinguished Senator Barrow Jibril to my colleagues to approve the work done and pass the confirmation of the Supreme Court justices. Considering, yes, we have done what we are supposed to do, and we're at the verge of every one of us, or almost all, getting closer to compile or final submission of our respective report as chairman and other submission, so that we can give colleagues opportunity to go and tidy up. Some of us may be here till tomorrow, and some of us immediately after the session may be getting our preparation for our vacation for Christmas happily, as we agreed yesterday that coming back on the 29th. So, Mr. President, I'm pleading my colleagues and you to, maybe it's allowed to even put the question to go ahead on confirmation of this important, what is before us. Maybe I can, if I'm protected, I can go ahead to do so. If guest content, then it's easy for the president to rule and heed his government so that we can move forward. Thank you, Mr. President. The president protected me. Can I go ahead? No, it's only the president that will say that so that I can know.
No, I actually think that for some of us that are not members of the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Public Petitions, is important that you air your view. It's very important, because these are people that once you clear them, you hardly see them again. So, distinguished Senator Yari, thank you so much. And distinguished Senator Wamako.
Report. Mr. President, first of all, I want to say that I'm very happy with this exercise, my commendation was first of all go to the National Judicial Council, chaired by the Chief Justice of Nigeria. These nominations, when the vacancies existed, everybody had interest in it, because it is only important that we have judicial officers who will serve the cause of justice in this country. The NJC has done a great job by sieving from the array of qualified justices, by sieving out these 11 noble justices of the Court of Appeal for elevation to the Supreme Court. We are in Nigeria, we have been here, and we have been following a lot of events, both in the judiciary. I can attest to the fact that the NJC put forward very credible, noble justices of the Court of Appeal. And also to thank the President for putting them forward. But if the President hadn't brought them here, we will not have the benefit of having these people to be confirmed by the Committee on Judiciary after screening and presented to us. My happiness is also drawn from page 9. Page 9 of this report. If you look at the distribution of the 21 justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria as presently constituted, Mr. President, you will immediately see that great job was done in balancing nominations across the 6 geopolitical zones. There is no zone in Nigeria who will say they don't have somebody who is credible at the apex court. Every zone had minimum of 3 justices at the Supreme Court now. Only 4, only 3 have 1 additional. So we have federal character firmly observed in these nominations. Not only that, the names that were put forward are names we have been reading their judgments. Those who have been used to litigations will know that quality judgments are priceless. And these noble justices of the court that have been brought here are known to be people who have written landmark judgments. Landmark judgments. So I'm very happy today that people who deserve this elevation were the people who were put forward. Nobody can contest their integrity. From the report, no petitions. Not only that there were no petitions, those of us who have been reading judgments delivered by these noble justices can tell you that we are in for a good deal in the judiciary. So I join my colleagues in saying that for the fact that the federal character is observed, and for the fact that the justices so put forward are noble justices of integrity and good character, we should go ahead and confirm them without any reservation.
This is Senator Dixon.
Bayelsa West. First, Mr. President, I rise to second and contribute to the debate to the fact that this Senate should confirm Mr. President's 11 Supreme Court nominees who have gone through the entire meal from security screening up to screening by the statutory agencies, the NJC, capping it all, and also the advisory committee, the Federal Judicial Council, and all of them have done their job. And yesterday, this matter was referred to the Committee on Justice, where, incidentally, I'm a member. Mr. President, I rise also to, on behalf of the senators from Bayelsa, thank the President for the nomination of a justice from the great state of Bayelsa, representing the South Zone, in the person of the Honorable Justice Seymour Abraham Adume, Justice of the Court of Appeal, now nominated to represent the South Zone on the bench of the Supreme Court. I want to thank the President for this, and we congratulate not only him, but all the other nominees. Justice Adume is very well known as a very competent, trusted, and reliable justice who has done his best and will continue to do his best. And Mr. President, even for those who may not have personal knowledge of the other nominees, there's nobody here who may not have heard or may not have read about their judgments and the work they have continued to do. A number of them have completely, in fact, all of them have completely dedicated their lives to the administration of justice. Some of them from magistracy, spanning over some 20-something years, 30-something years, in the business of adjudication and administration of justice. So we congratulate all of them. The only point I would like to make before I sit, Mr. President, is to support the motion, or support the sentiment expressed by the Senate President Emeritus when he raised the issue of the need to draw attention to all of us here in the legislature and the executive to work together to address the challenges facing the judiciary. For so long, so much lip service has been paid to the problems and challenges of the judiciary. Happily, in this 10th Senate, in the course of the retreat and other activities, under your leadership, you have made some proclamations which are very heartwarming. That is to say, committing the Senate and the National Assembly, of which you are chairman, to a broad and comprehensive justice sector reform. And even at the committee level, under the able chairmanship of my dear brother and colleague, M.T. Munguno, very experienced parliamentarian, and also Attorney General, my colleague as Attorney General. He is also working very hard, and the whole committee behind him, to work with the Attorney General and all other stakeholders, the bar, with your active support to move for a broad justice sector reform. And also, subsequently, a broad police and law enforcement and criminal justice reform, so that we can now address and create a general conducive working environment for the judiciary. The conditions are quite pitiable. I don't want us to go into all those details, but it needs to be reformed. So I want to support that the nominees be screened so that they can assume their duties. But before I sit, one point was made, which Mr. President and my colleagues need to know. The leader of the Senate, who is also a member of that committee, raised a very vital point. And this Senate should note it and should also perhaps pass it to the executive, which is appointing authority. That here we are screening 11 justices for the Supreme Court at the same time. Very commendable act the President has done. But we shouldn't be doing this at this time. For so long, these vacancies have existed. They could have been filled long before now. We had a situation where areas in this country were left without representation, leading to discussions and accusations about perceived marginalization. Even the perception of it was not good, especially representation at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court being the ultimate court in this country and structured in a way that has representation from all parts of this country is important, Mr. President. While looking at this nomination, that we should also pass that message that anytime these vacancies occur, they should be filled promptly. There are fitting, very qualified people from all parts of this country to fill those vacancies, either at the Federal High Court, at the Court of Appeal, or especially at the Supreme Court, anytime those vacancies arise. I thought, Mr. President, that we should draw that attention as a matter of general concern to the appointing authorities at this time that we are discussing this, and finally commit this Senate and the National Assembly under your chairmanship to a broad and comprehensive justice sector reform that can address conditions of service, can address delay in the justice delivery system, so that will not be a laughing stock before the world. Thank you very much.
Well, the point current president decided to take a holistic decision to ensure that we beefed up the number of justices of the Supreme Court, because justice denied or justice delayed is justice denied. Let me hear from the distinguished Senator Ojus Okalo.
Our 11 justices off camera. Yes. Because the questions members and people might want to ask might be not really good for our national television. I thank Mr. President and the Senate for taking it to committee of the Judiciary, because it was live yesterday and it wasn't going to be really good. But I want to join Senator Ahmed Lawal in begging the Senate to look at the budget of the judiciary, not only in the Supreme Court or Court of Appeal, even the magistrates, the state courts, they're in a mess. When you go to see a judge of a state court, you will think that he's coming with Okada. He's living in a midst of the people he's supposed to judge. And these things are not the way they were before. Most of you who were governors and all the rest of them, we did better in providing accommodations for these people where they will live, quarters and all the rest of them, cars to go to work. So I plead with my colleagues in the Senate, let us look at the budget of the federal judiciary, especially also in the Court of Appeal and industrial courts, all the courts. When you have relations in these courts, you will find out that they are not even coping up with life. So how can they give good justice in the open court of law? It's going to be really difficult, Mr. President. And also, it is not right to leave justice of Supreme Court for so long. I'm adding my voice to former Governor Bayelsa, that you will live like Southeast. We are left for almost 7 years without a judge in the Supreme Court, entire Southeast. Not only one, I mean, there were vacancies, but to key to this vacancy was a problem. So, Mr. President, I want to thank the President of Federal Republic, and also thank you for the speedy passage that we are going to be doing to this afternoon. Thank you. So they can go back and face their work. There are a lot of cases coming from states, in the 36 states. The Court of Appeal is truly short of their members now, as of today. So I think if my colleagues quickly do this, and Mr. President will relay to me, President of the Republic, we will be able to have justice of Supreme Court by Monday morning. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you.
Having made that last contribution, you have thanked Mr. President for the speedy decision. And thirdly, you also pointed out that with their exit, there is a vacancy in the Court of Appeal. And it will be good for those vacancies to be filled on time, so we can have speedy delivery of justice in the system. And also, the only one I don't agree is the one that you said that for 7 years there was no justice of the Supreme Court in the Southeast. But I thought Mrs. Odili was representing Southeast. Anyway, that having said that, Leader of the Senate.
Committee. Thank you, Mr. President.
I've noted a point of order from the Senior Senator Warada. Immediately we conclude with this, please, we'll give you the opportunity. Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this Senate do resolve into Committee of the Whole to conclude the confirmation hearings. Those who are in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. On the report presented by the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Public Petitions, I will put the question. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey, OFR, for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Haruna Tsammani for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Justice Jamilu Yamama Tuko for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Justice Abubakar Sadiq Omar for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Chidiebere Nwaoma for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Chioma Egondu Nwosu-Iheme for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Obande Festus Obuya for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in Hannatu Sankey. Honorable Justice Chidiebere Nwaoma. Honorable Justice Chioma Egondu Nwosu-Iheme. Honorable Justice Haruna Tsammani. Honorable Justice Mo Asemo Abraham Adume. Honorable Justice Obande Festus Obuniya. Honorable Justice Jamilu Tuko. Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Olumiwa Abiru. Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada. Honorable Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar. Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris as Justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Yes. Distinguished colleagues, Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey? Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve? Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey as amended? Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Jummai Hannatu Sankey is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Haruna Tsammani for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Haruna Tsammani is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Jummai as for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Nwosu-Iheme is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve? The Senate has approved. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Chidiebere Nwaoma for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Chidiebere Nwaoma is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Chioma Egondu Nwosu-Iheme for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Chioma Egondu Nwosu-Iheme is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, would the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Obande Festus Obuniya for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Justice Obande Festus Obuniya is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, would the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Mao Asimo Adumain for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Mao Asimo Adumain is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, would the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiru I take that again. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the appointment of Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiru for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Habib Adewale Abiru is hereby confirmed as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Let me congratulate all the nominees hereby confirmed by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as Justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and pray that God will give them the wisdom, the enablement, the strength of character, and the will to carry out justice in our dear country. And I must also commend Mr. President for the appointment across states, irrespective of political leanings. So I know when my brother, Senator Dixon, was speaking, he made mention of the fact that Bayelsa is represented in this list to represent the South-South region of Nigeria. So for this, we are very grateful to Mr. President. And I'm sure other regions are equally very grateful to Mr. President. We pray that these confirmations will lead to speedy dispensation of justice, particularly at that echelon of the courts, where a lot of cabotage cases are still pending since 2006. 2006, not 2016. It is now left to us and the House of Representatives to look at the possibility of how to stop certain matters from going to the Supreme Court. Because some of the things that go to the Supreme Court are distractions. Interlocutory applications should stop somewhere, but that will be left to the public hearing when we commence our amendment of the Electoral Act and amendment of the Nigerian Constitution. I also want to commend our brother, distinguished Senator Munguno, and all members of the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters for the speedy way they have scrutinized and screened all the from the SSS, from the DMI, from the presidency, and their resumes to be able to arrive at this speedy conclusion today. So, distinguished Senator Munguno, you can take a bow. Thank you. Thank you, and well done. Yes, Senator Wadada.